Hey, Baz, it's Trent from Channel 10, mate. How you going?
Good, mate.
Obviously, a bit of a whirlwind week, mate. You got 5 regular players that are unavailable for selection. How much of a headache's that been?
Yeah, it was a disrupted week, obviously, but we're probably more focused on the opportunity, I suppose, that it gives the 3 debutants. I'm pretty excited about. So, whilst really disappointed the events early in the week, and it's put us in a bit of a position with the team we've had to pick, but someone's misfortune's another bloke's opportunity, and young Bailey and Patolo and young Kicks will do a good job. They're really excited.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, as you say, especially for those guys, but also Kyle Flanagan. Trent, what was his reaction like when you said he'll get the opportunity again?
Yeah, same thing. He was excited. So he's waited patiently there and played a couple of good games in reserve grade in Canterbury Cup for Mounties. So again, it's an opportunity for Kyle to get back into the team, and we're playing a pretty good team in Manly who are going really well. So look, we're going to have to play really well, but we've got to get out there and do a job.
What have you seen from Kyle, Trent? Because we obviously all saw his reaction to being dropped after that Dragons game and the emotion that he showed. What have you seen from him since then that gives you confidence that he's ready to come back and steer the ship again?
Yeah, look, I think it's been a bit of a learning curve for Kyle as well. We all tend to we all forget probably that he's only in the very early stages, the infancy of his career. So some things that Kyle's had to process over the last 5 weeks, and I thought the longer that's gone and he's really worked hard, he hasn't moped around, he's trained really hard and put himself in a position here to play first grade again. So I think the team's been playing pretty well over the last month. We had a good win there against the Dragons and had a good performance against Para and Penrith, but didn't get a win. But there's some good signs there. So Kyle's coming back into a team that's going okay, and young Jake Avarillo's doing a really good job there as well.
Mate, can I ask you, from the outset, you said you're disappointed that you can't select those 5 players. Obviously, you're disappointed in them for the decisions they made, or for the club in not corroborating with them and understanding what the protocols were, or where's the disappointment come from?
Yeah, I think disappointed that we don't have 5 of our players to choose from. I think it's put the club in a bit of a position. We're still going through a process now with the NRL that management will handle, but I think from a coaching point of view, I've been really focused on looking after the group that we've got here. As I said before, we've got 3 debutants playing this week. We've got Kyle back in the team, so we've got to move on pretty quickly from that, from a playing perspective, and our administration and management will handle the other. But certainly disappointed that we can't field the team that we were going to field, and a bit of undue stress on the club early in the week.
As you say, mate, that's left up to management to go through that process, and probably not for you to decide. But as I understand, the club will be responding to the $50,000 fine. Is it kind of seen as a little bit unfair?
Yeah, look, I think our administration and management do a really good job here. That's probably not for me to comment on at the minute, whilst there is still a process going on. So I'll leave that alone. But I think certainly from a coaching point of view, we didn't need it, and we certainly understand what the game's going and where we sit. So we'll be fully cooperative with the NRL, and hopefully it's a lesson, I suppose, for everyone else, that we need to do the right thing.
Thanks, Trent.
Hey, Trent, it's Emma Lawrence. Can you talk us through what exactly happened to Nick Cotric?
Yeah, he's just a freak accident. We were doing some groundwork, and he's ruptured a ligament in his big toe. So out of nothing, just getting up off the ground. So it was a really odd one, really shattered for Nick, because he was, he's an important part of our side, and it looks like being possibly season ending for Nick. Not too sure. The surgeon's in 2 minds whether or not he'll need surgery straight away, or they might give him a couple of weeks to see if they can let it settle and heal naturally. But we'll wait and see in a few weeks. But at this stage, it looks like he's gone for the year.
I imagine. It's never easy to hear that, but he would have been quite devastated, I imagine.
Yeah, I think more surprised than anything. He was because he was in a boot straight away, and we thought it would only be a minor sort of injury, but it's turned out to be a lot worse than what we thought. And disappointing for him. He's not real happy.
Trent, Andrew from Channel 7. Given Cotric's situation and the 5 COVID breaches, how do you go into the Manly match with a glass half full attitude?
Yeah, I've always, trying. It's very important that I come in here with a positive attitude, and that's what we tried to bring. As I said, we see this as a real opportunity. I think it's not every day you get to hand out debutants jerseys, particularly for young blokes like Bailey, who's come through our junior system, and Chris Patolo, who's a local junior, which is really good for us, and Kicks. There's a really good story in and around all 3 of them boys. So that makes it a hell of a lot easier to deal with the disappointment of missing a few of your blokes, to be able to kickstart someone's career, 3 of them at once, and they're all very good friends. So it's one of the better parts of my job.
And I mean, Tommy Turbo's one thing, but a bloke like DCE, they're baying for his blood north of the border, so I've got to blame someone. Having had a fair bit to do with him, what sort of comeback are you planning from him this weekend?
Yeah, it's been spoken about. I've seen Jerry in this position a couple of times, and he's a very determined player, and I'm sure he'll come out and play really well. I've seen him do it before. Turbo, on the other hand, well, he's arguably the best player in the game at the moment, rightly so. He's doing very well. So we've got a big job to do there with Tom to certainly limit the damage that he does. He's a handful. It's red alert when Tom gets the ball, but there's a lot of good players in that team. Cherry being another one. Kieran's playing well again, and he's an experienced player. So they've got a lot of good players. Their side's pretty settled at the moment, and they're playing some good footy. So we're going to have to play very well.
Thanks, Trent.
And it's Pam from AAP here. I mean, you said that you were disappointed with having those 5 players stood down, but how are those guys doing? I imagine they're quite disappointed as well to be missing out.
Yeah, they are. I've spoken to the 5 players, and they're obviously disappointed. They feel as if it's put us in a bit of a position, put it that way. So they are very disappointed with it. But as I said, we'll wait and see what happens with the sanctions and with the NRL, and then we're expecting the players to be back at training on Monday.
Did they apologise or anything like that, or do you think one is necessary at all, or what do you think?
Yeah, look, they were very apologetic. They're proud of their club, and no one likes to see that happen. And we want this club to be held in a good light, and it was something that we probably didn't really need at the time, and they're fully aware of that. But it's something we'll have another chat when they get back in on Monday and see what sort of headspace they're in.
Trent, it's Adam Pangeli here, mate. How much training have you been able to do actually this week with all the testing and everything that's been going on?
Yeah, we've been able to have a full week, so it hasn't disrupted our preparation. Had a bit of a plan in place, knowing that the players might be unavailable. So we picked a team pretty early in the week. So our preparation's been really good. Certainly no excuses there, and we've been able to train with those players in those positions all week. It's made it a little bit difficult to get too much opposed sessions in. We haven't got enough in the building to do a 13 on 13. So that's a big part of our prep in a normal week. But we've had to adjust a few things with our training. But the boys have been really good. As I said, when you bring three new players into the team making their debut, it's makes it a little bit more special. And we want to make sure that these players remember this game for the right reasons.
After the last game, mate, you were speaking about the 6 again counts against Parramatta and a couple of sin bins. Did you get any clarity from the NRL that you wanted in the last week or so?
Yeah, I spoke to Jared, and they were good. Look, and obviously they've got a tough job to do, but we just felt that there was a few things in that game that we needed explaining on. Jared did that, and I'm sure that we'll learn a few things from it. But for us to beat Manly this weekend, we're going to need a few things to go our way and be squeaky clean in those areas.
You spoke about trying to limit Turbo. How do you do it? Is there any way you can possibly limit his impact on a game?
Yeah, look, I think he's always going to have an impact. You know, your greatest players always will, and I guess it's about limiting the opportunities that we do give Tom. You know, he's a danger all over the field. Really, he's a ruck threat, and he's good enough to be able to get out on an edge quite quickly. So, you know, obviously we need to know where he is at all times, and you know, he's a huge part of their attack. But not only is he smart, he's got a real presence about him, and he's a big man as well. So he's more than a one-man job. It's a team effort to stop Tom. A lot of the good things that Tom do come off the back of their forward pack. They've got a big pack, and there's a bit of second phase in them as well. So, look, there's a few areas that we need to work hard on. But Turbo, as an individual, you know, Queensland couldn't stop him, and a lot of teams haven't been able to over the last 2 months. But you know, we know what we're expecting, but we just got to turn up on every play and be prepared to do it for long periods.
You work with him for years, obviously. Did you ever envisage him getting to this level as quickly as he has?
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, you know, who saw him play through the juniors. I know as soon as I went to Manly, he was the name on everyone's lips, and Brett Stewart was getting towards the back end of his career, and we all knew that Tom was coming. And he's an exceptional athlete. He's extremely smart and got really good anticipation, and he's big. You know, he's well over 100 kilos, and he's extremely fast. So you put all that together, and that's what you get. You get, you know, a prototype like you've got in Tom, and I would go out and say he's the best player in the comp at the moment, and rightly so.
Trent, it's Nick from the Telegraph, mate. I was just wondering if you could give us a bit more background on those three debutants really quickly. I know Kicks has played a fair bit of reserve grade, but Bailey and Chris not so much. So just give us a bit more background on what they're like. Yeah,
Bailey Beyond, he's a young halfback. You know, he can play nine as well. A good little runner of the ball, and he's quick. He's got, you know, a good kicking game. He's got all the attributes to be a really good player. So he's still only young. He's probably getting fast-tracked a little bit at the moment, but physically he's ready to play first grade. Got a really good attitude. And young Chris Patolo is a young, you know, a front-back rower and can play on an edge as well. He's a size, got a really good build, you know, a good athlete, and he's a local boy. So it's good for the area. I think we've got 6 or 7 players in the side this weekend, local juniors that are still eligible to play in flag. So it bodes well for the future for us. You know, if we can get a fair bit of footy into all those young guys over the next couple of months of the competition, it's going to give us a head start on next year. And I'm looking forward to watching them play, yeah.
Trent, it's Alicia from NRL.com. Just the one question from me. You obviously lost Dallin as well over the past couple of weeks. Are you looking to replace him over the next month just with that mid-season cutoff, or you probably look to promote someone?
Yeah, we'll probably promote from within. You know, it was the timing of it all. And we certainly couldn't predict, you know, the week that we've had. But, you know, Dallin, we wish him all the best over there at the Warriors, and he'll do very well. He was good for us, Dal. But, you know, circumstances, you know, find him over there. But we'll probably sit and wait on that spot. And, you know, we've got some planning to do for next year as well.